Hey, good morning. Welcome to the morning steam. It's getting steamy in here. It's Sunday, finally. Mindy Hahn, Ramon Scott with you for our first NFL show of this first NFL season. And everything's first for Mindy and I every time. Even though we've done a couple of weeks worth of shows, we're, gonna share this day, our first NFL day together. Mindy, everyone's excited. Everyone's awake. I've got everything here in the kitchen. I'm ready to go as soon as we get off the air. I'm gonna do a little bit more betting. I'm gonna, start to look. It's NFL day. I'll be full up in teasers, but uh, then I'm gonna hit the kitchen and I'm gonna make every possible combination of breakfast items and watching NFL football on the West Coast. Bacon, sausage, pancakes,
Okay.
eggs. That's how you do it on Sunday morning, for me anyway, on
Right.
those games. And look, we got the great NFL card coming off, and I don't know where we can start with yesterday. I mean, we could just get into today because we're so excited, but uh, I guess we could talk about. We had some great, terrific picks. There was no doubt about it. But I think everyone is still scratching their heads. What's going on with Alabama? What's going on with Notre Dame and some of these teams with some upsets? No doubt about it. But that's always going to happen. But you got to wonder long term. I mean, yes, Alabama came up clutch. They have the best player. He made the big plays and they earned the win. But I mean, a 20-point favorite winning by one. And then, of course, Notre Dame. Look, I mean, they're trying to find a conference for Notre Dame, right? Because
Right.
so I've got some suggestions, Mindy. I'm going to start with the Middle American Conference, the Mid American Conference, the Conference USA. Maybe Notre Dame should lower their expectations a little bit with their poor start again and losing at home to We Are Marshall. Great, they look good. Marshall looks great. I mean,
I know, right?
they're going to be, maybe creeping into the rankings here with their 2-0 start. But to go on the road and perform like they did as well in Notre Dame, they're again in the same position we've seen a lot with Notre Dame, scratching their heads, wondering where they really truly belong. But anyways, Mindy, what any other game you want to talk about those games? We don't really have to dwell on the college card. I just thought it was interesting results. So we had some smashing picks. Several games we side and total.
I
We
know. We were
knocked it
crushing
out
it.
of the park. I mean, there were some clunkers. There's always going to be when we're making picks on every game because that's what we do here on the Morning Steam Show is give you live free sports picks every day, Saturday through Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Well, I
Mindy, the
definitely
college
thought that.
card.
Yeah. Well, I definitely thought that Baylor BYU for me was the hardest game to handicap. I mentioned that yesterday, and I think that game really didn't disappoint. I mean, Baylor, geez. Running the ball well over 50 times that game. It came down to, some weird special teams. I mean, those kickers were just so far off. It's just crazy that, you could be a college athlete and then when it comes down to that, like miss, so badly. But yeah, I mean, I thought like, I love that game. I thought it was great. And BYU, pulled it off. And I just couldn't believe all of the upsets in week 2. I don't think that's normally when they come. It's, having Texas A&M go down. I did not expect that. I thought defense for sure was going to be able to stop Appalachian State, but there was absolutely no chance on that. A lot of high scorers. Was still kind of surprised Michigan didn't cover that spread versus Hawaii.
Yeah, no doubt
Did
about
wind
it.
up
But
getting
but you did call it, Mindy. You did call for an over in that game.
Yeah, it was just that it was a kind of a weird, a weird spread. That's the thing is if Hawaii scored twice, which they did, they couldn't cover that spread. It was just one of those things that happened. But Nebraska was terrible, as as maybe we thought they might be. I'm not sure how much. I don't know if Scott Frost is going to make it through the season here at this point. I
Well, that
mean,
was
like
one of our
everyone.
double plays. I mean, we both agreed that that was way too many points.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's just one of those deals that it was a really good. I thought it was a really good day yesterday. I enjoyed all the games.
Well, and you nailed also. I mean, I think we talked about it also on the show with the Kent and Oklahoma game. You had a premium winner there, and I said, where are the points going to come from Kent? I'm not sure I can even see them, scoring. And sure enough, they did not reach the end zone. So we knew that game was not headed anywhere close to the 60s. And also, you had a nice premium winner, UAB and Liberty, to go under, and that was a dead solid lock by you. So yeah, I mean, I thought there were plenty of winners on the show. So let's hear from you in the chat. We know you guys did pretty well with your picks as well. So thank you for joining us. We want to put your picks up on the screen and show them to everyone. And hey, we want to show them your picks for Sunday as well. We want to see your NFL. We want to see your first NFL cards to our chatters, really. We want to see what you have. So please comment in the chat. You guys have been doing great every day, giving us more info, more picks. So that's what our show's all about here, not just free sports picks, a ton of free sports picks every day here. Again, we're going to look mostly at the NFL card today. We'll touch on baseball, run down the lines for sure, so everyone gets a handle on maybe where the lines are moving. If you're going to play any baseball today during the NFL, imagine a lot of you going to sit down with your red zone and your local games, or your
I love the
backup
red
with all
zone.
the
It's like my
games.
favorite thing of all time. It's like the best invention ever.
Right? I mean, you don't miss a thing really
I love
when you're watching Red Zone. But again, and there's that. I'll also talk about WNBA. I didn't have a video out on the game. Thought I'd just save it for our show. Talk about Game 1 of the WNBA finals that begins today, September 11th. So we don't want to forget this important day, but it's nice to have football. Remember when we didn't have football that week? We didn't have any, all the games of that week were, canceled now. Just, been 20 years, but certainly we're all going to, we'll see at the games today. There'll be plenty of pomp and circumstance, regarding the introduction of the game and things like that. We'll never forget. And also, maybe I wanted to also talk about the men's final. I gave out the winner yesterday. I mean, $1.75 favorite, but Iga Swiatek becomes the first Polish player to ever win the U.S. Open on the ladies' side, and she did it quite convincingly. So I don't
it.
think laying 175 was a big problem when you can dominate in straight sets like she did. UFC card went off, I guess, without a hitch. I had a loser there. I had one premium play. Well, I had Ferguson over Diaz, but man, Diaz looks real. Always comes in great shape. Look, I wasn't doubting Diaz certainly, but I just thought, man, a guy talking so much, and Ferguson wanting him so bad, but he gets the submission there. So a lot of exciting sports yesterday. But man, I could talk. I thought it was a great. You mentioned that Texas A&M game. A lot of these teams are BYU, for example, going into the Big 12. That's going to be a conference game. You look at the Texas A&M game. All these games with App State winning like that, playing like they are. Wow. So
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, and then another one was kind of what we talked about too, to see what Arizona was going to do after they kind of beat up on San Diego State. There, still couldn't pull it off against Mississippi State either. So that's kind of what we had maybe thought a little bit there as well.
Yep. I thought the night card was pretty good. I did bring home a premium winner with New Mexico State yesterday against UTEP. That was a premium winner for me. And also I had a premium winner with Missouri and Kansas State to go under. So maybe I avoided some landmines yesterday. I wanted to go harder, but I just didn't have as much confidence. But today I feel great. I feel great about the NFL. I don't want that to be a curse or somehow be overconfident, but it's a lot of home dogs. I don't know what you're thinking, Mindy, but we're gonna find out
Right.
what you're thinking, at least on the free side. And of course, we'll get your premium, plays. Let's visit our. I think it's time to visit the website before we get too far into this. I'm like ready to start talking about uh, these
Let's
football
do it.
games. I think right now because I'm so fired up for them. But let me call up the website, Mindy. Don't forget, like and share, subscribe to our channel. Free picks every day here on Tony's Picks. But click on the link below in the description or just head on over to our website, tonyspicks.com. There you'll find our premium picks each and every day from a dozen handicappers over at tonyspicks.com. Check out the handicapper leaderboard, see who's hot. Click on the All Cappers tab. There you'll find this page right here with all of our handicappers and their picks every day over at Tony's Picks. We're going to find Mindy. We're going to ask her what she's got going for the card today in the NFL. Mindy, this is the day we've been waiting for. I mean, yes, college is wonderful. We're glad it's here too. But what do you got? You got opening day best bets? Let me hear it.
Yes. So I do have an opening day best bet. And then I went ahead and I have 7 picks on the day there. I went ahead and I said, hey, I'm just going to wrap them all into one rather than doing like yesterday where I put them into two separate time frames, that sort of thing. But I have a pretty, I got 4 in the early slate and 3 in the late slate. So you can take a look at those. So yeah, it's going to be a really fun day. I have my best 7 out there, ready to go here today on NFL.
Yep, and of course, Mindy, you've got the Tony's guarantee on, and look,
That's
it's
right.
something we've just implemented. I know that's not being talked about a lot yet, but look at this: if the guaranteed picks don't win, a credit for the full purchase is added to your price. So if Mindy on her 7-game card does
Yep.
not
If I don't win, you get
profit,
credit back.
you're going to get the $50 credit back. So you can buy the plays for 30. Well, and it's going to be a winning package. I got you, Mindy. I got your back here. But again, that's why we offer it now on many packages, including this one here, the $50 guarantee. So look, we know you have to step up to the window. We're not, just throwing down small bets here. We know you're going to have to step up to the window and have a winning day, and you want to have a winning day with, some big NFL bets. I mean, that's the way we want to roll on Sunday. And look, you're going to buy premium picks. You're going to, play pretty heavy on these games. We want you to win. If you don't, we're going to offer you the credits back. But again, a seven packs there for Mindy. And I've got for you today over at the website, I've got a 6-pack in the early window. I'm going much heavier today than almost any day this week as the season opens up, Mindy. I'm coming in with a 6-pack of games in my early window there, and I've got that one for $40. I don't have the guarantee on this one, but on my late window, I do have the guarantee. 3 plays for $30 or get the guaranteed price for $45, where I got to go at least 2 and 1. So we know you can do the math. You're gonna,
Right.
how much you're gonna want to put up on these games. Certainly, and we all going to want to go pretty big on these games. I mean, this is it. There's no more preseason for anybody. Okay, so all right, and also, like I said, take a look at it's not all about us. We got our friends too over there. So check out the handicapper leaderboard, see who's hot. Let's see who did the job yesterday on the website. None other than the VIP. He comes through. The GM has the big day in. Over with his premium plays. Let's take a look at his package today. There you see his performance yesterday, 4-1, including Houston against Texas Tech. Mindy, you called it. I mean, Iowa State under. I mean, you practically drew up the script for us with your preview yesterday. How about you comment on that one?
Yeah, so it is what kind of we thought it was. Petrus, he just can't do anything for Iowa. I don't know why he was there last year. I think, they might be looking to, for a change this year. Luckily, Iowa still has the defense that they're looking for. Was a notoriously low scoring game in the past and didn't disappoint. But yeah, and finally Kansas or Iowa State got to break the streak. They're now 1-5 versus Iowa in their last 6. Actually, wasn't too bad of a game, but Iowa had plenty of chances to win that game and kind of let it slip away. Iowa might have been the better team, but didn't show it that way.
And I mention it because, again, that was you got the better of me on that one, but I think we both agreed that the better situation was getting involved with the total there as well, because it was going to be exactly as advertised, and
Right.
that's what we saw. Tony had the under. Just looked like a situation where scoring was going to be at a premium. So also Kansas, West Virginia, boy, that was predictable.
That was a blowout, wasn't it?
100 points, 100 points in that game, and yeah, I mean we were pretty. I thought we were pretty warm on Kansas. I think that was the side that I gave out on the video there, and Tony gave out the total on the under on his as well, and the GM also laid a run line. So a good job by him there. So you get all of our handicapper picks. Collins 6-3 yesterday as well. Good day for Collins. He'll be ready. Of course, he probably rolled in the SEC. I won't get too much into more packages, but there you see the guys in the green yesterday, including myself, throwing in a 3-2 day there on Saturday.
Yeah, only managed 500 yesterday, Ramon. That's the thing when you give out lots of the free picks, to go ahead and pick out your best, and then it's like the free kind of got the better of you. Right.
You know what? But that's part of it. I mean, again, we want to
do so many.
All our premium plays. That's why we're here. Those are our best picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. So look, I mean, just because the free, did better. I mean, again, the focus is on the premium. There's no problem there. But again, we're handicapping the game. There's no reason not to, give you the information that someone like Mindy might have on these games. We better get into it, get the show moving, and get to the NFL. Waiting for your comments is what I was doing, and here they come. All right, Brian's ready for the season, and so am I.
Right.
Boy. This is it. And thanks to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitter. And again, we're here every day. If this is the first time joining us, we're here every day, Saturday through Thursday, which isn't every day, but it's 6 days, and bringing you free sports picks, just like we always do here on Tony's Picks, with our show, The Morning Steam, where we kind of cover the line and the games. We're going to get right into it with our rapid fire free pick rundown as we get rolling here in the NFL. That's where we're going right to the board and started off, Mindy, with the Baltimore Ravens are going to come and play the New York Jets.
Jets.
Oh, Jets. Where do we start with the Jets? Let's not start with the Jets. Let's start with the Ravens. Look, they, seem to have a pretty good situation heading into this game. You look at the quarterbacking situation. You got Flacco with the Jets, the old Raven quarterback that can't even move anymore. And you got Lamar Jackson. Maybe he's not the MVP candidate that he once was. Maybe he is. I mean, there's no reason why he's still not in the prime of his career. And the Ravens are favored here, Mindy, by 7, the total 44.
Yeah, so the Jets are interesting, as we know. Not sure what we're going to get with them. But Flacco, he still has that 113 passer rating. Jets have kind of, struggled to run the ball here in the past. Also have a defense that really can't slow down the run game at all. Both of these teams were 3-0 in the preseason. So, they have, high expectations for these teams here right now. But injuries really hampered the Ravens last year, especially at the running back position. Ravens actually struggled on defense from being, historically great on defense. They allowed 278 yards through the air. And they also had that 11 turnover differential last year, -11, that is. So yeah, I mean, I just think you're going to have a Lamar Jackson out here that's going to really push the tempo. I'm not sure if the Jets can stop him at all. I think the Jets are still going to be able to put up a couple points here. I'm going to take the over 44 here in this one. Over at this opening number hits about 55% of the time, so I'm gonna lean that way here today.
Yeah, I think for Baltimore, we're definitely paying a tax, but I mean, look, I don't. Maybe it's not because I mean the line was reissued. We know that Wilson, who's really an unproven commodity at this point. I mean, who's to say that he's going to be, the quarterback that it's never worked out, right? It never works out for a quarterback with the Jets. So I mean, why is Wilson going to be, just because Flacco's in there? Why would the line really go up? It has. I mean, because of this situation. I mean, there's nothing to say. There's been no changes really, other than the quarterback status of Wilson and Flacco, taking over. Where again, yeah, if the Baltimore they're going to have blitz packages all day long. I mean, that's going to be a big problem. So the Jets are going to have to, I think, use some running to try to get them off his back a little bit, and that's going to be a solution for the Jets. But can they do that? Can Baltimore, know that the right time the Jets are going to resort to that run? So again, laying a touchdown, that's going to be difficult enough. But again, I mean, man, these Jets are just such a goofball franchise, right? I mean, but we're going to be in a disagreement, I think, to start the season, Mindy. I hate to say
Oh
it.
man.
Yeah, like I said, I think the solution for the Jets is to run. If they're going to score, they're going to need obviously to possess the ball time wise. I think a little bit more, and maybe Baltimore's not the explosive team. Certainly, we know that. But I know what you're saying. I mean, the Jets at home, a new regime. Flacco, when given time, can make progress. I think I agree with you on that. But I'm worried about Baltimore's blitz schemes and all that. And I think the Jets know that too. And I think the Jets end up trying to run the ball, trying to possess the ball and extend drives in that fashion. And to me, that runs the clock a little bit more. And that's why I'm leaning towards the under. I'm concerned. I mean, look,
Yeah.
Hall and Carter, the Jets, these guys aren't necessarily, proven running back commodities. But again, I mean, and I'm concerned with Jackson's, his targets. I mean, you're going to have guys like Bateman, Duvernay. Those are the guys, and of course their tight ends are going to be great. I mean, that's the one area the Ravens, will excel with Andrews and Boyle. So for me, we're going to go heads up here in the first game. I've got a premium in this one on the game, but on the total, we're in disagreement. So. And again, if our fans, I think Mindy on those heads ups yesterday, I think Mindy did get the best of me in several of them. So maybe you can. I always like to say I like to handicap the handicappers. So
Right.
maybe you'll side with Mindy in that one. But nonetheless, we're set to move on. Let's get into a divisional matchup here with the Saints and the Falcons. Talk about these home dogs. That's what I'm going to do today and discuss it because that's where people kind of look right now. I think that's for on the gambling news front would be kind of the headline story of week one that there are so many road dogs. You do have here road favorites, I'm sorry, but the Saints favored by 5.5 and the total 43, Mindy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the Saints here, they have a potential to have a really dynamic offense. But it's going to be if they can keep, I think Thomas healthy most of the time. Sounds like I think that he might play yet today. And it's going to be whether or not the Saints can, stop the run also. I've never been really a Matt Ryan, fan as much, especially as he's gotten older here. So I think the Falcons, may actually have maybe a little bit of an upgrade with someone like a Mariota. And that's me, like, personally, because it just seems like, Matt Ryan was one of those guys, again, that in the clutch, he was the one to throw the interception. Rather, he never was able to run the ball. You get that from Mariota there as well. I think, that the Falcons are really a healthy team right now. I also really like Cordarrelle Patterson. He can hurt you in the run and pass game. But definitely the Falcons really can't stop anyone either. I have a premium on the side here, but I'm going to take the over 43 here in this one.
All right, Mindy. Yeah, when I look at this, Mariota can do some things that Ryan can't. And that's take off, I think, with the football. I mean, that's important. I love what you said about Patterson. They definitely need to. They talk is they need to figure out his role. I don't think they need to at all. I mean, I think we know the role. I mean, this is a guy who now is a running back who has the potential to get out in pass coverage and get the ball in different spots and make big plays. So I think that's a kind of a key there. But yeah, the Saints. I mean, look, I want to see Chris Olave. I'm a big fan of. I think that he is going to be a big star. I think this is going to be. Look, they have enough weapons that Olave. I don't think is going to make. I want him to go out. I want him to score a touchdown today. I want Chris Olave to be the star. But in this particular situation, he might actually not do much today in the game. I have more concerns than you. I know what you're saying. We're going heads up again, I'm afraid.
Oh my goodness.
I do not like, Jameis Winston to me. Yes, I mean, he's got plenty of weapons.
Right. Can you do it?
That is he going to get too excited with all these guys and be checking the ball all over the place and make those turnovers that we see from Jameis. And again, I don't think Mariota necessarily is the guy. Look, I think he can establish drives. I think that he can make drives. He can extend drives, and but I don't think they have the explosiveness, and that's what my concern is here going into this game. And it's a divisional game, so I'm going to go under. I also have a premium in the game on the side, so I don't know if our opinions we might be in sync. I don't know. We'll see, but we're not on the total again in this one. We're going heads up, and I'm going under, and Mindy's going over in New Orleans and Atlanta. Oh no! Could this be the last ever pre-picks rapid fire rundown show on the Tony's Picks channel? Mindy might be breaking up with me here. All right. We're going to look now. Let's stay right in the divisional matchups, but this is a home favorite here. Very interesting, right? Because the Dolphins look like a franchise still in disarray to a certain extent. I mean, given the way things unfolded last year, the firing of the coach, just everything that went on, Tua definitely is. Look, we like Tua. We want him to do well. He's never really still. There's been moments of brilliance, and there's been more moments of not so brilliant, right? And you're going up against Belichick, dominates first-year coaches. Everyone laughed. They take Mac Jones. Look, they plug him in. He's not Tom Brady. He's not even Drew Bledsoe, but he's operating the situation there in New England. New England, maybe their personnel's down. We're not going to say they're not a playoff caliber team at this point. To me, it's Dolphins. All the things they have to prove themselves, and you're going to make them a 3.5 point favorite at home. I don't know if I'm tipping my hand here. We'll see what Mindy has to say. But Dolphins are a 3.5 point favorite, total 46.
Yeah. So again, it sounds like we might be moving in opposite directions today. The opposite show. But the Patriots and Dolphins here have developed a pretty good rivalry. It's like one of those things too. I know that I got burned on this one so many times personally, betting the Patriots with Brady and having the Dolphins cover this game. The Dolphins won 4 out of 5 at home versus the Pats. And again, it's going to be.
They've always struggled down there.
What's that?
they've always kind of struggled down there. You think about it's a bright sunny day, whatever. Maybe that's not New England style. I think
Right? They
sometimes.
would rather have snow and wind, it seems. But it's like, how is the Pats going to be without Josh McDaniels again here? They've had that, before also. And then it's going to be, well, are they going to be any good on defense then? And it's going to be interesting to see what Tyreek does there with the Dolphins. I am a Chiefs fan. Tyreek does tend to drop the ball a lot. I mean, for as good as the guy is, still tends to drop the ball often. And so it's going to also be, is the Dolphins, are they going to have a decent defense, in this game as well. But it's just one of those things for me. I'm going to go basically a little bit on the trends. Pats are 1-4 in their last 5 games, 2 of 8 in the last 10 in Miami. I give Miami, a little bit better, like a 55% chance of winning this one. I'm going to take the Dolphins minus the 3.5.
Okay, no problem there, Mindy. And I'll take a look at the total at least in this one. I like the total to go under here. Look, Patriots, they'll be running it with. You talk about Mac Jones and what the Patriots do. I mean, they're not looking to get out there and do something super. I mean, they want to dictate the game with their defense and their tempo, and they might be able to do that here. I'm not going to necessarily disagree. I just think laying points is the problem with the Dolphins situation. Maybe they'll win, but again, especially if that hook's on there. Now, look, you could shop, you could buy points. This is the NFL. Anybody tells you don't want to buy points, if you're going to take the Dolphins today, you're probably going to want to put. If I'm putting $1,000 bet on the Dolphins, okay, I'm probably going to put like $500 of it on -2.5, and then I'll come in maybe with $300 on -3, and then maybe $200 on -3.5. I mean, again, this is what people a lot of times don't do, that end up when they're ripping up their ticket at the end because they got beat by the hook. The line isn't necessarily you don't have to stick to it, and you could say that I don't want to lay extra juice. That's your choice. But you got $1,000 on the line. Why are you going to let it just all ride on that one, fluky last-second field goal, whatever is going to happen? And again, I mean, either way, you're looking at a tight game here. You would think. I can't see the Dolphins necessarily going off on the Patriots here, certainly. But again, Belichick, to me, also the fact that, like I said, he just owns first time head coaches. That's another factor for me. So they're getting the points. But my play is going to be on the under here, Mindy. I think is very reasonable at 46 now. And maybe I missed a half a point there. But look, I don't think Tua necessarily has explosive enough weapons to produce big numbers in a game like this. Divisional games, you might not even want to watch our show. I mean, I'm going to have a lot of unders when teams are meeting in the division a lot of times, especially with teams like this. So that's where I'll go with it. I don't know if the Patriots, I look at the Parker's going to be, good for them today, but they do have some injuries as well. Yeah, I'm satisfied. I'll go under. Mindy's got the Dolphins. All right. Well, we don't need to draw the storylines here. I mean, we're here to give out free sports picks, so we don't have to tell you about Baker Mayfield being on the Panthers now. I mean, it's a big look. I always like to have a guy with confidence. Okay, you can say what you want about Baker. He is a starting quarterback in this league right now, and he's going to have a top-notch running back behind him here, just like he did in Cleveland. And if Cleveland wanted to go a different direction, well, they'd made their choice, and now they're starting Jacoby Brissett. So it hasn't necessarily worked out maybe the way the Browns thought with their free agents, with their signing of their other quarterback. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not even going to mention his name because maybe he doesn't deserve it at this point. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt when he's eligible to return to the lineup, and if he comes out and proves himself. Again, that guy's been on the sidelines now for quite a long time. So Jacoby Brissett is a guy who's earned his keep in the National Football League because of his stability, his ability to go in there and keep things under control. He's not necessarily flashy and gonna, you know, be putting up a lot of points and things like that. So I'm interested what to hear on this one, Mindy, because Cleveland opened a favorite, way back in the summer, and now you're basically looking at a pick 'em Panthers -1 or so.
Yeah, so I really didn't look into it, but did the NFL create these matchups, like say with Browns and Panthers, and Seahawks and Broncos, or were
Right.
or were these already set ahead of time? Do you know the answer to that?
Well, the schedule
Was it already out?
the schedule itself is actually. Now, I know what you're saying if you're thinking about week one. I mean, the NFL does have control there, but I think the Cleveland the situation was maybe that might have evolved after the schedule was set. But the schedule itself is actually already predetermined by a number of factors, including where you finished the week before. They don't arbitrarily
Okay,
uh,
so it was
assign
a lot of
assign the
happenstance.
matchup. Right? They don't
Okay.
say, "Hey, let's take this team and that team." What you do is, of course, you play your own division. Of course, you play each team twice, and then you play one other division from the other conference every other year. So they rotate, your games between the four conferences. Play one particular division, and then you play the equivalent team in your division from the previous year. So that's why a lot of times we always say the NFL and the parity, but what they've created with that little niche in the schedule is that all the first place teams in the AFC end up playing each other from the year before. The second place teams play
Okay.
each other, and that's why the first place those teams actually end up with tougher schedules. And then, even though we got a small sample size, they can actually end up. It makes it a little bit tougher on those good teams to replicate a successful season than it does on the lower rung teams, because the lower rung teams will kind of play each other in those those three particular matchups between them and the other divisions. So there is a formula to it, but I think it is interesting. And one thing they can do, just like they did, is pick the games for the Monday night. I mean, that
Right.
came a lot later. We knew who they were playing. In fact, that's why you'll see it at the end of the season. One of the things that's talked about in that first week is we know who everybody's playing next year, but we don't find out the order of the game. So
Right.
yeah, I think there is what you're saying. That is correct. They only pick and choose the order just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times towards the end of the season, they'll move, two teams that are in it into that, Sunday night slate instead of having, two teams that are just not in the running here for the playoffs as well.
Yeah,
So I mean, Ramon talked about the story here with Mayfield and Brissett. I always like Brissett, for the Colts. I think he's decent, and the guy works really hard and he's really consistent. I think it's going to be this year for the Panthers. If McCaffrey can stay healthy, he's just missed a ton of games. He's my fantasy running back, so I'm rooting for him, to stay healthy. They've always had a strong defense, the Panthers, as we all know. And it's just one of those things that the Browns, historically don't win opening games. They're 1-21 in openers. I really don't like, a whole lot in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of probably ground and pound with the Browns. They're going to do, Nick Chubb. I think that's kind of how it's going to go. Panthers do have couple threats at wideout with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, but I just don't see this one being a real explosive game. I'm going to take the under, usually at about 60-65% to the under with a opening line, as it is with 42. So we'll take the under here in this one.
I'll go over.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. No, I don't. Look. I mean, the thing I think you're a fantasy owner of McCaffrey. I mean, anybody, if you've had him before, I mean, there's we call it, McCaffrey regret, right? I mean, because here's injury prone players are always injury prone. And that's the one
that is true. 100%.
thing that they seem to never shake. And McCaffrey, though, is the hardest luck injury prone guy, but it certainly has to relate to his style. I mean, look, he's just a fierce, ferocious, he has no fear, right? When he carries the ball, and that's what makes him so great. If we could get this guy healthy for one season, I mean, we could, we want to see the potential, what the final outcome can be. I mean, a guy who could take a team. Panthers. Look, I mean, they're struggling as a franchise right now. You mentioned, some of those players, though. I mean, look, those are some great acquisitions. Getting guys like Anderson. I mean, Moore looks like he finally. I mean, he's explosive at any time. He might be the most unheralded explosive player in the league, really. So, look, the situation's good here for Baker. I hope Panthers can turn around. They deserve some. They deserve to have some success, and maybe they can get started with. I look at if Cleveland, to me, look, like I said, they can still prove it to me if they want to come back once they get the quarterback that they want. Is that really what you want to do? I mean, they put this whole franchise, basically trying to get uh, that quarterback into the situation. That to me, that just doesn't look right. I mean, I'm not blacklisting the guy because of what happened. I mean, if everything gets settled with faces a suspension legally, whatever, it's all good. I mean, people pay their debts one way or the other. Unfortunately, that's just the way things go down. But if that's the direction you want to go, maybe you got to take a longer look at what your whole plan for the franchise is. I mean, Nick Chubb is too good of a talent to waste when you can't really back him up with a good, steady offense behind him. So see what Cooper can do with them now. Peoples Jones, I don't know. I think that there can be some offense here. I'm gonna go over. We're gonna disagree, Mindy. That's okay.
That's all right. That's okay. We're here to give you information.
Blake doesn't want any part of that game, and that's okay. That's okay. But I think you'll watch it, right, Blake? Because I think we all want to see. We all want to see. We want to see Baker against the Browns, and we want to see. I don't know what's he going to do. He's going to do something. If they are winning this game, he's going to do some hand gestures, or I don't know. It might be not safe for TV, but all right. Keep going here, and now we're going to keep more division football. How about the AFC champions, the Cincinnati Bengals, a 7-point favorite against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Right.
What? Total 44.5, Mindy.
Yeah, so it's one of those with the Steelers at quarterback. It's what it's going to come down to if Trubisky can get the job done or not. It's one of those, I don't know. I think he's probably only going to last maybe 3-4 games this year. I think we're probably going to see Kenny Pickett as we go along.
Burrow, we'll see him today.
Well, perhaps, right? But I think Burrow just has way too many weapons on offense for this Steelers team that is pretty much comprised of a one-man defense called Mr. Watt. That's pretty much it. But the Bengals here, they're 7-0 versus the AFC, 2-0 versus Pittsburgh. I'm going to take the Bengals at home, -7.
Fair enough. They might roll Pittsburgh here. Do you think the Steelers are dealing with a position of strength, Mindy, when it comes to Trubisky and Pickett? I mean, the fans love Pickett. There was no reason why he didn't earn the job here. It's okay. We understand.
It's probably just not knowing the playbook. I mean, that's probably what it comes down to. I mean, just, maybe he has some leadership issues, right? It's hard to come in and show those veterans what you got to. I don't exactly know. I was rooting for Kenny Pickett to get the position. Not really ever been a Trubisky fan necessarily, but he also got thrown in with a Bears team that really doesn't have much to offer him. And that's the thing too, is you got Claypool. That's pretty much, what you have there. So it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of offense the Steelers can put together. I mean, they're a team that defense keeps them in games and they have just enough. And, it's going to be interesting to find out.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mindy, because when you think about Trubisky now in Pittsburgh, it's almost like maybe that is the role. I mean, if you think about the type of quarterback he was for Chicago, and maybe the limitations that Chicago had, especially now seeing how the struggles of Fields, who's a much more mobile quarterback, and he
Right.
still has problems with this Bears protection. That maybe giving Pittsburgh the opportunity to have Trubisky the opportunity to be with Pittsburgh might be more suitable for his style. I mean, we don't think he's going to be earth shattering,
Right.
but you know, look, Ben was a special guy.
Right.
And even he towards the end, I mean, there wasn't much left in the tank with Ben, but he still was able to get out there because Pittsburgh is a type that doesn't. Well, I don't want to say doesn't need a spectacular quarterback because Ben was all
Right.
that.
Right.
So, but again, I think with a team like Pittsburgh, that maybe it just is a little better fit. But yeah, again, like I said, it could be a situation of Pickett getting in there. Even today, if it's not working out, and against the Bengals, it might not work out today. So, anyways, I think Burrow does light it up, and I think it goes over the total of 44.5. I think the Bengals can get that cover today, but division opponent. Pittsburgh knows what to do to try to stay in this game against the Bengals, and I'm not necessarily totally down. I think Harris is a pretty good option at running back for Pittsburgh, so I will take the over. All right. Speaking of quarterback issues, let's talk about the 49ers as they take on the Bears. I don't know if it's issues with the 49ers, but we'll see what Mindy has to say. They're favored by 6.5, and the total is 40.5.
Yeah. So Trey Lance, I guess, versus Justin Fields in this one. I think Trey Lance, he does bring a lot to the 49ers here. Obviously the 49ers like that instead of, sticking with Garoppolo. But I also think they're not convinced or they would have released Garoppolo. So, I'm not exactly sure how this one's going to play out either, but excited for the kid to have a chance. But, he presents both the run and pass threat. But the thing is he also has Samuel and Kittle. I know Kittle's probably not playing today, but he has those threats where with the Bears, I just think they're unproven on the offensive side. I'm not quite sure anyone on that roster scares me. And I just think the 49ers are going to be too tough. They got that third ranked defense. They kept most of those pieces together. Justin Fields also turns the ball over. You talked a little bit about, Jameis Winston. They tend to just kind of turn the ball over in, bad places. I'm going to take that road favorite here in this one with the 49ers, the -6.5.
I want Justin Fields to succeed. I want the Bears to put him in a position to succeed. I mean, I don't know if you look at the guys that you might compare him to that have success, that are kind of quarterbacks that can run and be somewhat accurate on the run. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the weapons. I mean, I think Mooney's a pretty decent receiver. I think the Bears can maybe score some points today. I think, look, the quarterback situation for the 49ers to me was Garoppolo. Look, I guess he could have, went out. There are plenty of quarterbacking jobs out there. I think that Jimmy G could get. Maybe this is the situation that he wants. Maybe he wants to stay here. Look, I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks for gamblers. That's for sure. But we'll want to see what Fields brings when he in this role. I'm sorry, Trey Lance brings in this role now as a starter. I think they could have success today. I'm not so sure that the points I'm going over in this one, Mindy. I'm going to go over in this one, 40.5. And let's move on. Take a look at this next one with the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah, Eagles and Lions were both 1-2 here in preseason. The Eagles, it's said that they have, been improved on both sides of the ball. So we'll have to see if that's, the case. I do like Philly's backfield, so I like Sanders. So maybe AJ Brown will help. Maybe he'll be a big addition. So it's going to be interesting to see if he will help out Jalen Hurt. I mean, a lot of folks had him touted, really highly this season. I think he still has a lot to prove with that. In Jared Goff has just been really bad. Like, he just doesn't even look like he really wants to be out there at all. Like, just his, body movements. I mean, everything. I like Swift in the backfield, but I think this Eagles D line is, they're just really, really good, and I think they're going to be able to, to stop that run, which takes away basically Swift, which is the only kind of weapon that they have. I'm going to go with the under in this one. I'm going to go under 48.5. It's 3-0 basically at this line movement. Not a real big sample size or anything, but I'm going to take the under here in this one.
I'm gonna, I love home underdogs. I can't get behind this one at all. Look, I know everybody's all. I think that the Hard Knocks. I think it's just a talking point. I don't really put any stock in it at all. I know that it will be talked about on a lot of talking head shows, but and maybe it was a little too over the top. I didn't watch every. I barely keep it on. I mean,
Right,
I really watch it just to keep up with people who want to talk about it, because it really is not that interesting to me. I want to balance my when I'm watching the NFL preseason camps, I kind of want to balance myself by reading notes on every team equally and not getting caught up in one team over the other. I mean, the Lions have a lot of issues moving on. I think they could have done a lot. Yeah, I'd probably just I would not even do Hard Knocks anymore, and I would just put a show on HBO about the New York Jets every week if you want ratings. I mean, why not? So I'll go with the Eagles to blow them out. I mean, look, you talk about the defensive line. How about the Eagles' offensive line too? These guys. Not only that, I mean, they've acquired a bunch of talent. I mean, really it's too bad because the Eagles are always going to set themselves up for disappointment and their fans as well. And I feel bad for them in that way. Maybe this will be the year. Just get us some kind of success in the playoffs. I mean, there's no reason that this team should struggle. This team should have a very strong season. Quite frankly, there's to me when you look at the personnel on paper, the Philadelphia Eagles, they actually, in my mind, Mindy, match up with almost any team in the league. It's just there's something about it they can't get over the hump. There's one disaster after another. They're the Eagles. So
I think that comes down to coaching sometimes too. So I think you tend to think yourself. I mean, why are we doing like jet sweeps and end rounds when you can run the ball straight up the middle? I mean, why put yourself in, third and long situations? I think that's been play calling's been sketchy at best.
And the running, I have concern. Maybe a running back might be of concern. With Sanders and Gainwell, but again, I think the balance it out with Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts. I mean, I would take him. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's like Mindy. There's 6 billion people on the planet, and like only 10 can play NFL quarterback, right? So he's one of them. He's more than serviceable, and I've got the Eagles winning this one probably by more than a touchdown. Okay, keep on moving. We're in the morning. We're in the morning games. We're in the early games still, and it's already 10 Eastern. But that's okay because this is NFL football. I'd talk to you right up until kickoff if I didn't have to make breakfast. The Colts and the Texans. Let's keep it into more division home underdogs, Mindy.
Oh, geez. I kind of feel like 7. Yeah. I kind of feel like this is like must-miss football today. Like, this is my personal opinion on this game.
This is your least favorite game to watch?
Yes, it's my must-miss of the day. I hate this game. But the Colts have killed the Texans the last few years, 31-3. 31-0. I'm not a fan of Matt Ryan here again. We kind of discussed that. It's pretty bad when Joe Flacco at passer rating of 113 has a better passer rating than Matt Ryan at 94.2%. Matt Ryan also, doesn't really have a lot to offer with the legs, as we kind of talked about. Can't scramble. Maybe it's the Peyton Manning type, but but he's no Peyton Manning either. So I don't know. Like, I mean, Jonathan Taylor is like their only weapon that they have. So if you can stop Jonathan Taylor, you can win any game versus the
That's
Colts.
tough to do.
That is true, right? But the Texans, they did get these good draft picks on defense. And Mills, he's had 3 or 4 games now with over 300 yards, passing.
I love Davis Mills.
Yeah. He's consistent. I'm going to take Houston at home, plus the 7.5 here in this one.
I love Davis Mills. I mean, these are the kind of guys, these are the kind of quarterbacks you want to kind of get behind. Guys who, nobody really, when he got the job, it's like he looks like one of those they're just throwing him in there. Hard work, determination. He goes out there. He's as good as half of them in the league right now. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, Houston is going to be the team. I think Houston's going to be the team we could make money on this year, right? They're going to be overlooked every week. They're certainly going to be overlooked probably in this situation. Look, I think Matty Ice can be the guy for the Colts. I mean, they're not shy, at least picking up a veteran quarterback here. And you mentioned, the weapons that they have. I mean, when you got Jonathan Taylor, you have something you can hang your hat on game in and game out. There's no stopping this guy at this point. So there's definitely balance there. They can move the ball, I think, with Matty Ice, but I think Houston's so live in this game. Certainly a good home dog, division home dog. You got to look at it that way. And for me, I think there'll be some points scored in this one. I think that Houston can produce. I know it's a division game where I would tend to go under, but no, I think there'll be points scored in this one. I'm going to go over 46 for my pick in Houston and Indy, and Mindy is on the Texans.
I look like I'm in the versus Kyle here. He's like, well, what about Pittman? Well, I mean, I agree. He has some weapons out there, but it's going to come down to, I think, on the offense, defensive line in the trenches, how this one's going to play out. I mean, if you can just run with, if Jonathan Taylor is going to run, then you open it up for Matt Ryan and Pittman. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
No, Pittman's live in this game. I mean, he's live in fantasy for sure. But watch out for Houston too. We talk about Davis Mills, but don't forget about Brandon Cooks. Could have a nice game today. All right, Mindy, some team, expansion team here looks like the Commanders. Never heard of these guys before, but they're going to be favorites against another expansion team. Not a great matchup. If I was going to vote for the, they said if you can't watch one NFL game today, which one is it going to be? It'd be the Jags and the Commanders. There's some storylines. No, there's storylines. Plenty of storylines in this game, but again, we're not dealing with 2 playoff contenders here, certainly in this one. But the Commanders make the move to Wentz, so at least give them credit for making sure that they have a veteran in there, whether you like him or not. And will the Jacksonville Jaguars ever fix themselves? Is Lawrence, is he not an NFL quarterback? Is it just so deeply entrenched that the Jaguars franchise just doesn't have enough talent that Shad Khan, why doesn't this guy spend money on every aspect? I mean, you'd think that the Jaguars would be a good team, given how much money this guy has. But I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Travis Etienne be healthy, and maybe that'll be key this year.
Well, yeah. I mean, last year Washington won this one 16-13.
Real
agree on this one. big one. But yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's super talented, but he's just had trouble completing passes. It's just kind of, to me, seems unlike him with where he was in college, but maybe the game has gotten away from him. I don't know. But maybe with the addition of Christian Kirk might help the guy out too, right?
It
I mean,
should. It
Christian Kirk is
should.
something else,
It
man.
really
He's got
should.
wheels. And yeah, I like Travis Etienne and Robinson. Robinson looks like he might be healthy now. They also use their number one pick to pick up Trayvon Walker to improve that defense. So I mean, I'm not a huge Wentz fan. I thought that was interesting. They probably should have got tried harder maybe to get Russell Wilson. I don't know. Wentz is good enough. He also has weapons with like McLaurin, but I still think the Commanders are going to have a bad day, defensively. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Jaguars here with a road. I don't know. What do you want to say? Cover perhaps Jaguars +3 here in this one.
Maybe Washington, gets a 19-17, Mindy, 16-14. You see where I'm going with it. I mean, to me, that's what it sounds like to
Right.
me. I don't think there's going to be a heck of a lot of scoring in a game like this. Blake says, yeah, with Urban Meyer gone, and Mindy, I scared Mindy.
I know.
I'm trying to send Urban Meyer to Lincoln, Nebraska. She'll take it because of what's going on. But I mean, they're.
But yeah, I mean, I always hear that there's tons of culture problems wherever Urban Meyer goes, since Florida. So who knows, right? It's going to be crazy.
No, but
I
I'd
don't
like
know if
to
there's
hang
any
out with them at a
takers
bar. I mean,
in Lincoln right now.
I'd like to hang out with them at the bar. I mean, and
Yeah.
see what happens. So, anyways, I'll better stop before I get in trouble.
Right.
Look, I just don't. I don't see these guys getting off necessarily in this one. Look, Jacksonville should run the ball. They should try to control this game. If you find me a couple of teams with a better, two running back combo, if Etienne and Robinson, stay healthy. I mean, that's two good backs to me that a lot of teams really just have kind of one key back. And I think both those guys and Etienne, it was just a tragic injury actually, because he was having a monster game. And it just looked like this guy was going to be, one of those players that comes and can be not only a great runner, but a guy who can get out in space with the ball. So we haven't seen we didn't see, right, the potential of Etienne, who really looks like he could be a star in the league, and he was just sidelined by that unfortunate injury early in the season, and Jacksonville invested heavy in him with an early pick, so that was sad, and that kind of derailed it because there was talk with him in there and Lawrence that could be exciting. So yeah, I mean the addition of Kirk, look, Jacksonville's got a long way to go, but the Commanders, they also
Might have a
have a
longer
long
way to go.
Under for me, Mindy. It's going to be an ugly game. I like the under. Jaguars and the Commandos. I just want to say it. I just want to say Commandos. I don't want to say other things that sound like whatever, but we could have done a lot better. Again, I'll try. I don't know. I wanted something like my vote was for the Washington Red Tails. Let me tell you why. I know we can talk like this on this show, but the Red Tails, you keep the red in there. You have the great Tuskegee Airmen reference, the historic African American pilots that were heroes, right? You could put
Right.
uh, uh, you know air jet planes or something, or interesting helmet that looks like a. I just thought it was a no. Can't believe they didn't listen to me. The Washington Red Tails, you could still kind of throw, because they had that little thing in the Redskins logo that had a tail feather. So I don't know. I thought
there's really not usually too many 3-syllable mascots.
Yeah. You could always just make up your own. You could make up your own and call them like the Astro Wolves or something stupid like that. All right, let's move on. I just thought I had a winner with Washington Red Tails. Put your suggestions in the chat, Commanders. I think they really blew it with that one. All right, let's get into the afternoon card now, Mindy. We're going to head out to out west for the late window here and start with the Chiefs and the Cardinals. It's certainly a more interesting game maybe than a lot of people might think. Or maybe we don't all think it is actually going to be quite interesting. Even though the Chiefs are a big touchdown favorite, there's always there's some things to like about Arizona, but they're just going up against the juggernaut. But again, we have a little bit of a runaway spread here. I'm not sure what you might think.
Yeah, the spread has gotten what from -4 to -6.5, that sort of thing. I am a Chiefs fan, which you might, know now. But yeah, the Chiefs might struggle a little bit this year. I mean, they're going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
mean, how can you be bad with Mahomes and Kelsey and Edwards-Helaire, that sort of thing. But I feel like my friends and family are not going to like me so much here in this one, right? So I think the Chiefs might be able to pull out a victory here, but I'm just going to take the Cardinals to cover this this spread
oh,
at
you will.
home.
Okay. You
Yeah,
will still take the Cards.
I
Okay.
am going to take the Cardinals. Again, Chiefs didn't impress me much. Didn't get out to a good start preseason. I don't know if they're kind of going through the motions a little bit. They got a lot of new guys. I mean, they have some potential here. But Cardinals, they pretty much kind of have it all back as well. Should be a good game.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs will win, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull out almost a -7 spread here in
I
this one.
didn't pay a lot of attention to the Kyler Murray noise. I don't think there was much to it. I think it was much ado about nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's hard not to think that he is not, the real deal. And maybe one of those 10 guys that can really play quarterback in this league. Maybe he's the drama queen. Maybe there's just, I don't know. A lot went on with Arizona, certainly during the offseason with that, but I didn't pay much stock into it. And I think this is a coach who kind of knows what he's doing too. I know that a lot of people think that maybe he has uh, gotten a little bit too much attention for the minor success that Arizona has had, but I think he's got it under control there, and I think that Arizona is still an underrated team. Uh, I don't know. I kind of do like the Chiefs to put up their certain number of points, but I'll tend to agree with you. I just think the line's got a little bit too high for me. I mean, look, I think the Chiefs. I think they might be really setting themselves up for a big season because of look. I love the receivers right now. I think the moves they made are just fine. I'm not.
Yeah.
Look, you talked about Hill. You talked about his up and down, hey, his behavior is up and down, so is his performance. And sometimes those two things work hand in hand. But come on, to get a player like Juju,
You? Yeah. You would
right?
watch
I
that
mean,
every day of the week.
Valdez Scantling, I mean,
Yeah.
they say that, oh, well, Valdez can't, he had
He's
Aaron
always
Rodgers.
yeah,
Well,
hanging
he's
on the
got
ball.
Mahomes now. So, he's got a good quarterback with him. And don't forget Hardman. I mean, he is the guy
Yeah.
that's going to be that explosive player now, right? That Hill, that type of player. So and Ceh. I mean, very good back. So the Chiefs are set, I think, for big time success this season. Look, the Bills were great. I mean, there's no doubt the Chiefs have
Jeez,
to
they
be
look sharp.
concerned with what the Bills look like and what they did, but they're not going to be afraid. I mean, to me right now, I don't know if you want to find another team in the AFC. I don't know. I think you got two teams right now, and we're waiting to see if there's a third one somewhere. I think, right? I mean, the Chiefs and the Bills, to me, that looks like a great situation. So I'll take the Cards. I agree with you. The spread's gone too high. I think the Cards keep in there. Kyler Murray, gutsy. Don't forget James Conner, always going to be gutsy, hard running. So I think they hang in there as well. Mindy, we're in agreement.
All right, here we
Did we
go.
have another? I'm trying to remember if we had
Not
another
yet.
one. Did we have another one we
Not
agreed
yet.
on, or do we only have one play so
Just
far?
one so far.
Are you serious?
It
All right.
happens. It happens.
All
It
right.
happens.
Well, Mindy, don't think I'm making a mistake. I know that we talked about this on some of the other shows, and I will never hesitate. And people can comment in the chat. They can DM me, whatever. But the San Diego Chargers are going to take on the Raiders. Okay, I never broke up with this team. I was there before this
They broke up with you.
That's right. I was there. I liked them before this ownership group. I'll always be loyal to the Lightning Bolt. And I get a lot of grief from all the friends and people here in San Diego because they do not like because they don't like the owners, and I don't either. If I were to buy, if I could buy the team, what would I'd bring them right back. So what's the problem? Okay, I'm a gambler, so I like half the teams half the time, but I'm going to stick my loyalty with this team. But that's just my personal aside, just to throw in some color into this conversation. But the Chargers, they're going to be favored against the Raiders. Remember what happened in that crazy game at the end of the season where they were playing for the tie, and they almost did. I don't know. No reason why this game couldn't be a 3-point game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way it looks to me. I don't see how it's going to be any different. Won't disappoint. I like the additions here of McDaniels. I think he's going to be good here for the Raiders. They picked up Devontae Adams. The Raiders, Chargers both average about 27 points a game on offense. I mean, these are two teams that they really light it up. Raiders are 5-1 last 6 home openers. You always have the Chargers here that struggle a little bit in some of these games. They're 2-5 against the spread as home favorites. For me, it's kind of really going to be too close here to pick a side. But I like over with all the weapons here in this one today.
I'm going to take the Raiders just because of that hook on there. And again, I mean, when I'm talking about, making a big bet on it, I mean, I'm willing to take 3.5. I'm going to buy a little 4s. I'm going to buy some 4.5s. And that's how I'm going to spread it out. I want a little bit extra just in case. But, Chargers don't show any signs of being able to cover any numbers in the division. And I think it will be an exciting, game, just like the last one was exciting in its own way when they played that game. I mean, the tie was the obvious choice. It didn't end up as a tie, but it was so funny the way that everybody talked about what happened. But yeah, I mean, the Chargers, I'm not sold on the running game at all with the Chargers and Eckler and everything, but with these receivers, they're still great. And Herbert, he's one of the 5 guys right on the planet that can really play quarterback. And David and Carr's right there too. I mean, maybe not quite of the same caliber, but certainly has a strong history and a good success. I mean, we all agree that Carr can, play with the best of them and keep his team in the game, certainly with those weapons as well. And I agree with you. I think the Raiders have made some of the right moves. I think the Raiders in Las Vegas is a can't miss. Even a goofball like Mark Davis cannot screw this up, right? I mean, I could be the owner of the Raiders here and probably have success. So, they almost can't screw it up, other than the fact that they, draft guys that end up, doing some crazy, stupid things that cost their careers and, embarrass the franchise. But that's another story for another day. What they have right now are certainly some great talented players that can make this a competitive ball game. I'll take the Raiders, and what's going to come down to a field goal, I would think, one way or the other. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let's stay division football on opening day. When I say opening day, I don't count Thursday, even though that was a wild one. But this is the real deal. The Packers, the Vikings, turn back the clock if you want. I prefer this. I prefer when these two teams meet in like a November, but it's okay here too, Mindy. But look, the storylines are plenty, but you still got 2 pretty decent quarterbacks, I'd say, and 2 teams are going to be highly competitive. Yes, the Packers are expected to do better than the Vikings, but I think the Vikings are more playoff contender than also ran.
Yeah, it's also going to be interesting here with this new coach for the Vikings. The Vikings have Justin Jefferson, but then they have Cousins that is inconsistent as best. I mean, he'll have 4 or 5 touchdowns one game, and then next game maybe 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, and he's just kind of notoriously been like that. I think this one's going to come down to the ground game. Packers are going to go with sounds like Dylan. I mean, like, it
Oh,
sounds like they're going to go,
yeah. Jones. I mean,
two running back
yeah.
situation here.
Oh yeah, I
And
like
then,
both of them.
yeah, and then Vikings are gonna give Cook. So I mean, that's the way it
Oh,
kind of seems to me. In this one, it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers and the pass game works out. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns I think in this game regarding passing. So we're gonna go under 46.5 in this one.
we're in a disagreement again, Mindy, in this one. I like the over, but I'll just give you some of the reasons why. But look, I mean, Sammy Watkins, I actually think I'm giving out the over, and I'm like, don't be surprised if Watkins maybe doesn't have the game necessarily. I need to step up because Lazard's out. But you still, yeah, it's funny. Remember, they brought Cobb. Cobb's going to be back. I mean, Rodgers gets what he wants, right? So I'm never going to doubt Aaron Rodgers able to produce. But I like what you said about the running game, and I think the Packers. If you could hang your hat on defense in a running game, which is a formula certainly for and under here. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I think the Packers. I talked about the 1-2 combination that Jacksonville can have, but they're an also ran. Here are the Packers bringing in guys like underrated backs, Jones and Dillon. I mean, I don't know how those guys do with the ADP. Do you recall? Because I know it's tough because you have to if they're sharing carries, but.
They're great. They're great. I never had any problems at all with them.
Yeah. And do they get attention in fantasy land?
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Dylan went, just as high as Jones did. So, yeah, I mean, people are expecting, good things out of this dual threat. They showed it a little bit last year. So I think it's going to be a combination that works for them.
Well, I think so too. I think, and then I think Rodgers gets some. Cousins performs against poor teams, right, and maybe not so good against good teams. And here he is going up against a good team. But again, I think Minnesota at home. I mean,
They always
Jefferson,
keep it close.
Thielen. Also they've got KJ Osborne, Jalen Rager. They got some weapons. They've got some weapons right now on Minnesota. Now they're going to have to, work on it a little bit. I think at tight end could be tough to run the ball. But if I've got tough to run the ball, I would think going into the season against Green Bay what we're expecting. But if I have Dalvin Cook, I've got a chance.
Right.
So I'm going to we're going to have another disagreement. I might go on 4-5 against you, Mindy. I'm not worried about that.
In the
NFL, I'm sticking.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things that we're on the sides as similar, just have different philosophies here on over-unders and stuff too.
Well, and again, I think sometimes I'm willing to, kind of just pick something else because of we're talking about a million college games or whatever, and I'll give out a side or a total. But in the NFL, there are plenty of options out there and plenty of derivatives. But really, when you're talking about sides and totals in the NFL, it's going to be hard once you get stuck in your ways to kind of change. So, anyways, definitely look. The Raiders and the Chargers might be the most exciting game with that offense, but I think this one, going to want to keep an eye on this one too. All right, final game from the 1:00 block. And this is going to be 1 o'clock West Coast, 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock games. The Giants talk about teams with problems. They've got to work things out. Maybe they're actually better than we think. But Tennessee, don't forget. I mean, this was a team that, they are capable of getting the number 1 seed. I am not including them with the Chiefs and the Bills at this time. But I know that Tennessee fans will include them with the Chiefs and the Bills, and the Titans themselves will probably include themselves with the Chiefs and the Bills. No reason why, given the division that they're in, that they won't ride into the playoffs again behind their great running back and decent quarterback.
I think I'm going to make premium plays here on both the side and total.
Okay.
So can you go ahead and take this one, Ramon?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Side and total with Mindy. Head on over to our website, TonySpix.com. Get Mindy's side and total on the Giants and Titans game. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Saves you 20% off all premium pick packages. Okay, Mindy. Yeah, so for me, look, I love Tennessee to a certain extent because they can control the game. I mean, when I'm watching a game with Henry smashing, play after play, that's a situation where I love to be on him. I don't even mind necessarily laying some points. I don't know about laying a whole touchdown, even against a team that, is as bad as the Giants. I don't want to say they're bad, but they're healthy. So the Giants have no excuse going into the season. When you got Barkley, let's hope for Barkley. I want him to stay healthy, right?
Yeah, of course. He's pretty dynamic. He brings a lot to the NFL for having him always on the sidelines.
Pressure's on Danny Dimes. Can he be the quarterback that we expect right now? I would figure it's going to be more disappointment until he proves us wrong. Moments of good moments for Danny Dimes, certainly, and then all of a sudden, when the team's not going well, Danny Dimes isn't going well. So as long as they're healthy with some of these guys, I mean, the Galladay, Tony, Robin, he's got some guys he could throw to. So they might be live in this game, but I think Tennessee controls the game. I've got it going under, Mindy, with Giants and Tennessee in this one. I'll take it under. Giants might be able to backdoor this game because I'm not sure Tennessee has blowout potential. But it'd be interesting to see how Tennessee with Woods now. I think with Tennessee that's interesting. And look, they're still they're still one of the most underrated teams, no doubt. Even though they're favored, to win their division, and with Derrick Henry, I mean, you can't go wrong. But people don't really look and get scared when you see the Tennessee Titans, but they're still
Right.
pretty darn good team. Okay. Well, I don't know if you saw Michael Jordan. I see him there behind your shoulder, but he had that advertisement. He's obviously, not a paid script, I wouldn't think necessarily. I think the guy probably knows Tom Brady, probably knows him pretty well. These type of people kind of hang out together. Not hang out, but phone call here and there. When you have the pressure of being one of the GOATs, those guys do talk. And I think Jordan probably has an affinity for a guy like Tom Brady, especially going out there at his age. I don't care if Tom takes off the whole preseason. When he walks into that locker room, it doesn't matter. Maybe there's some issues when you're not with a team, but look, all he does is throw balls at practice to these receivers. I mean, that's all you need to do when you're Tom Brady, right? You're going to get protected by the officials. You're going to have all day to throw. They do have problems, but it seems like they've got some linemen get knocked out all the time, but everybody wants to play for Tom Brady. So you have problems getting people in there that are of decent caliber to continue. So pretty good matchup for the first Sunday night game. I mean, they're not going to ever discredit Dak's ability,
Right.
and hopefully Ezekiel Elliott is ready to go, and maybe he's on the downside or whatever, but you're certainly going to give him a chance. Pollard certainly stepped up and gives him a great 1-2 combo if that's indeed the case. Now, Tampa's got issues in receiver, maybe to open the season. It might kind of neutralize this game.
Yeah. We all remember that game last season. Tampa Bay won 31-29. Brady put up, and the Buccaneers put up 430 yards of total offense. I mean, just really kind of had their way, basically with the Cowboys, even though that score wound up being, closer than what we had thought. I just think that with Prescott, for as good as he is, they got rid of a couple of weapons there with Amari Cooper and Wilson Jr. So I don't know how much that's going to affect. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is great, but again, we've seen it before. When you only got one guy and you can take that guy away, what else do you have? I guess they have Schultz.
And Gallup's out, right? So
yep. So they have Schultz. So, maybe it's going to be the day of the tight end. I don't know. So it's also one of these things that historically, Tampa Bay doesn't really cover much in, openers. And I'm just going to go ahead and stay away from the side on this one. I'm going to take the total. I'm going to have it go under just because we got a lot of variability today in the player packages for those Cowboys.
I want to take Tampa here. I think Mindy in this one. Look, to me, like I said, when Tom walks in, things change, and maybe it'll be close. I like the fact of laying under a field goal. Maybe just I'll take him on the money line. How's that? But
Okay.
look, it could be a situation where maybe Dallas does get the win, right? Maybe I'll be wrong in this game, but they're still going to be. It's kind of like Tampa. They could start off slow, and then people are it's gonna be the same deal, right? Oh, Tom, this is it. His wife's bugging him. He's about to get divorced because all he wants to do is play one more year of football. I don't want to, no social commentary on what your wife thinks about you playing more football. I mean, playing a football game is a special deal at any level. Anybody who knows that. I mean, even if you're playing on a college, you only get to do it so many times in your life if you're a football player. If you're a college football player, you might play, go back to high school, win 50 games your whole career, right? And it's over. So Tom wants to make the most of it. Tampa Bay certainly is going to have its chance to, he wants to win again. High profile matchup. I'll take him. I'll lay the points with Tampa Bay. I think the total, the problem I have with that total is it's gone down already. Maybe that's why it's only a free pick for you. I mean, it was as high as 53, and maybe that Leonard Fournette, right? I mean, here's a guy that we kind of expecting him to. He's been great. He's been great.
He can not have ankle injuries as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Cowboys, they can control the ball a little bit. Maybe the Cowboys don't have enough weapons right now, like you said. So maybe it sets up that way. I don't know. That one kind of worries me a little bit, but I don't want to go against you, especially on the Sunday night game. But I do like Tampa Bay possibly to get this and get the money. I'll lay the 2.5 because of our free show. But I'll probably, when it comes time for me to step to the window, maybe I'll just lay the money line. If you want to do that too, that's just fine. And again, I'm not trying to lead you down the wrong path. But again, maybe it could be a 1 or 2 point victory, and they just win it by a field goal. Could be a field goal either way. Close game, exciting game, great way to start off the season. It's still the Dallas Cowboys. We can make fun of them all we want, but they're a contender. They're a contender, especially in that division. Like I said, I think the Eagles are above. I think the Eagles are head and shoulders even above Dallas right now.
Because it kind of looks that way
of their roster. But those will still be the some of the big games, I would think, in that division. Those two teams. I don't want to right now put those other teams up there necessarily with them. So, okay, we'll talk about Monday night tomorrow night, Mindy. Let's wrap up the show a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, but I'll skip to the WNBA first because of the request that we had in the chat. We wanted to hear about the WNBA. Marco says, who wins, the Aces or the Sun? The Sun. He meant the Sun. They're not taking on the Phoenix Suns, but I don't know. Maybe the Aces could beat the Phoenix Suns right now. The Aces to me. So I'm going to take the Aces to win the series for sure, Minnie. I think maybe you can comment on the series as well, but I think the Aces have been set up to this point. It's been an up and down season. They went through the middle. Sometimes on a championship team, they started red hot. Middle of the season, they were cold. Then they heated up certainly again, and they took care of their opponents in the playoffs a little more quickly, a little more soundly than the Sun. Now, of course, we knew the Sun was matched up, with Chicago, who was a 2-time defending champion. And the Sun did a terrific job, no doubt about it. They deserve all the credit in the world to beat beat them and get to this round. So, but I like the Aces. I don't know if they can cover today this number of 6. I've struggled a little bit with sides in the with sides in the WNBA, but my totals have been a little more solid. I'm going to go under 169. I still think we see that defensive form in the playoffs that we've seen. I've got a lot of criticism in the chat because I took a lot of unders, but they did come through in the chat on the videos. But unders have been pretty solid in the postseason, and that's the way I'm going to go here. I'll go under 169. But any observation on this series? Look, the Sun are live. I mean, no doubt about it. But I just think the Aces with Hammond as coach, I mean, it just seemed like the right mix of players. Asia Wilson, the most valuable player in the league. Kelsey Plum. I want to mention, if I can, that I have 2 players I like in this series from my area. I like Kelsey Plum, and also I like Dejanay Carrington of the Sun. I cover her mom is a head coach out here of one of the teams, high school teams that I follow closely, that I've followed for years, and she's a very wonderful lady and a wonderful family. Darren, you might remember Darren Carrington, the former NFL player, is the father of Dejanay Carrington of the Sun. She's a reserve player, comes off the bench, but does see a lot of time. So just want to mention those 2 players that I like very much, and I'll take the Aces to win the series. I got under in game 1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a similar outcome as you discussed. I think there was only one over game in the semifinals, which I thought over the Storm and the Aces were just gonna since they both averaged well over 85 points, we're easily gonna hit those over games, but couldn't do it in any of them until they hit the game with some overtime. But if you just take a look at these 2, the Sun and Aces. I mean, the Aces are first in points scored. The Sun are third. Field goal percentage, Aces are third. Sun is second. 3-point percentage, first and third. I mean, this is going to be tight. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a really fun series. I just like the Aces at home. They seem to play better there, to me anyway, throughout the season. I like them at home. I think they can cover this 6, but they got to be on their game. They can't be missing those easy shots like they had been against the Storm, because I think the Sun can take advantage of that. I mean, they're a team with like absolutely zero quit in them. So, I mean, they're a team you got to watch out for, and you got to be on your game. But you got to keep that field goal percentage up. I don't know what was going on with all the missed shots. I mean, it's one of those, like, you have these teams that are only putting up 6 to 8, points, a quarter. They got to stop that.
Yeah, there was too many, like, weird. I mean, like, that's the way it's been going. Like, yeah. And sometimes it happened in the first quarter, the second quarter, the fourth quarter, and they get 6 or 8 points. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good series.
Not something, and again, the quarters are shorter, but I mean, it's like I don't know, the NBA has some goofy things too. But all right, I'm going to run down the Major League Baseball cards. Stop me, Mindy, if you have comments on any games or teams. But again, probably not a lot of picks here. We're just going to run down the lines. Let me open my notes here. But I do have some notes on the game, certainly, and I might have a couple plays for you in these. But still an important card today in Major League Baseball. All right, Boston with Hill is going to go up against Baltimore, and Bradish, $1.20, total 8.5, under 15 in this one. All right. Washington at Philadelphia, that's Sanchez and Nola. Nola, $1.50, total 8. No picks here for me today on the baseball card. We're going to wrap up this show. We've been on 90 minutes. Hope you all enjoyed it. St. Louis Quintana going up against Pittsburgh and Keller. Quintana, a $2 favorite here at Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay at the Yankees. Patino, probably an opener here, going up against Domingo Herman, $1.20, total 8.5 over 15. One of the better games certainly of the day. The Mets with Walker, $1.45 at Miami with Luzardo, 7.5 under 20. Cincinnati and Dunn, Milwaukee and Woodruff, biggest price on the board today. Woodruff $2.75 and the total 8. So Cleveland with Bieber, $1.55 favorite against Minnesota and Winder. Winder, I'm not sure. $1.55 favorite for Cleveland, total 7.5 under 25. Mindy, your Royals are going to be at home with Singer, pretty big favorite against Alexander. I mean, probably not worthy of that large of favoritism, no matter how bad Detroit is right now. $1.50, total 8 under 25. Los Angeles with Davidson against Houston Garcia, $2.30 favorite, 8 over 20. Let me see. I didn't have much information on this. Let's see if this comes through. This week. Toronto and Richards, $1.15 favorite against the Rangers and Perez, total 8.5 over 20. That one I didn't have a lot when I made this. Zach Gallen, here's one of the big stories right now of the day right here. Zach Gallen, just in action. Probably worth $1.65. Looks cheap right now for Zach Gallen. I don't care if you're in Colorado. I mean, 10.5. I mean, Zach Gallen has a chance to go in there, and I don't care if it's in Colorado. I mean, this guy, I'm not sure it matters at this point. So, not making any picks here, but Zach Gallen right now is the hottest pitcher in the league. Chicago White Sox, Johnny Cueto. He's a minus $1.55. Ignore the typo there. $1.55 total, 7.5. Over 15, Cole Irvin for the Athletics. Atlanta and Odorizzi, and Seattle and Gonzalez. Odorizzi $1.25, 8.5 over 15. The Dodgers and Haney $1.25 at the Padres. Padres lose last night to the Dodgers. Doesn't surprise me. Dodgers still continue to roll, but Haney hasn't been that strong of late. 125, 8 under 15. And it looks like Brebria will be the opener here for San Francisco going up against the Cubs and Miley. That's your Sunday night game. No total when I made this graphic, but it's 9 over 15. All right. Mindy,
All right.
Tony has videos. I'll just mention anybody. Tony has his show, just came on his baseball show earlier this morning was on. So if you want to watch, get some free picks from us here at Tony's Picks. Tony's got all the action for you today in Major League Baseball. Mindy and I wanted to focus all that time. I'm sorry I kept you so long there. Also mention one more event today of note, and that's going to be the U.S. Open men's final between Ruud and Alcaraz. Alcaraz is a $2 favorite here, and again, I'll lay $2 with Alcaraz. I think he could take down Casper Ruud, and I don't know, maybe he could do it in 4 sets or less if you want to try to increase your price. Alcaraz, mentioned it earlier, Mindy, on some of that. Oh, he is the up-and-coming guy in tennis. I mean, they were talking about the other night with that Tiafoe match against my guy Yannick Sinner.
Right.
Those were the young guys of what this is the future of tennis. Well, they forgot about this guy, but we didn't, right? We talked about him. I've, talked about him on our other shows with Tony earlier this season. So, all right, take Alcaraz minus $2. Okay, Mindy, don't forget, visit our website, tonyspicks.com, and get our premium selections. Mindy's got you locked and loaded with a 4-pack of morning games, a 3-pack of late games for a 7-pack. Mindy over at Tony's Picks, and I've got a 6-pack of games for the early games and a 3-pack of games for the late games. Better yet, put Mindy and I together for a 3-day pass. So it's a 2-for-1 capper promotion. If you like our show, you want to, how can I reward these two for coming on here 6 days a week? How about getting a 2-for-1 capper promotion with us, Mindy and I, and rolling with us for a couple of days and get some winners. Good luck to you, Mindy. Have a fun day.
It's going to be awesome.
NFL.
Can't wait.
Oh, my God. It's only 2 hours and 15 minutes away. I got to make breakfast.
Hurry.
You got to feed and walk the dogs and then get ready for some NFL action, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Catch you again tomorrow on Monday. For Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.